I'm rock and roll, y'all.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
it's 10 o'clock Monday morning, June the 12th, 2023. I make a motion that the regular meeting of the Navarro County Commissioners Court come to order. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are in session. I'd ask everyone to please stand for opening prayers, followed by a pledge of allegiance. That's great. Father, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you give to us each day. We thank you for the rain. We'd like not to have some of the damage that we've had, but we still thank you for the rain every day. And we ask you to be with us today, share your wisdom and guidance as we deal with matters of the county. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. ABC. Mr. Ron Capehart.
Just Davenport Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Y'all all know me, Ron Capehart with Linebarger, the delinquent property tax collection. And I'm here to help with your budgetary problems today.
Wonderful.
We have had
thank
some really good tax sales recently, so we've got some excess proceeds today to distribute. And today I have a series of checks totaling $48,585.94 in excess proceeds. As you recall, this is free money that's not designated in the budget, so the county can use it as y'all see fit.
Great, great. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ron. That'll work. That will work. All right, we appreciate you.
Yeah, 48,585.94.
There you go.
You come back to every meeting.
Well, that's won't be a problem. Okay, that was wrong. Let me note this real quick. All right, moving on to our consent agenda, item 5 and 6. So if there is need to discuss these, we can certainly do that. If not, that's the reason it is on a consent agenda. So I just need the motion to approve the consent agenda as it is.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
A second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now to our regular agenda. Number 7, it's consideration of burn ban. We might have a little trouble getting anything burned right now with the amount of rain that we've had. I got Saturday night, got 2.5 inches, and then got a little over an inch last night. So it's wet.
There's a lot to burn,
Yeah, there is a lot to
Yeah.
burn. So once it dries up, well,
a lot of limbs, trees.
yeah, lots of stuff. So no action, gentlemen.
No action. No action.
All right, number 8 is presentation on battery energy storage systems. Gosh, it takes 3 guys to do that. It's a big, it's gonna be a battery. Oh, yeah, it's a big battery.
Battery.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Neves. I'm Director of Business Development for Duke Energy. With me today is Robbie Sharma from our team at Duke, and then Evan Horn. We really appreciate the opportunity to come before you all today. So thank you for your time. Duke Energy, obviously, we've had a great working relationship with a lot of the folks in the community here. We appreciate working with the county on our previous project. Duke is a very large U.S. utility company. For those of y'all that may not be familiar with Duke Energy, we're over 100 years old, headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have a fleet of power plants across the country. We have a regulated utility in the southeast part of the country. We have a commercial business where we build power plants across the rest of the U.S. We've got about, 55,000 megawatts of operating power plants across the country. And we are what we would call an all of the above company. So we've had, hydroelectric power since the, early 20th century. That's actually how we got our start, was with hydropower. We have natural gas plants, nuclear plants, coal plants, pretty large fleet of conventional energy. We also have a lot of renewable energy nowadays. Operations kind of across the country. We have a lot here in Texas. But as an all of the above company, one of the things that we are looking at more and more is battery storage technology, and the ability to use a lot of the new battery storage capabilities to pair them with our power plants, to be able to store electricity, use it at the right times of day when the grid needs it, use it as a backup reserve resource. And so that's something that we're looking into across the country, across, different sites in Texas. And we really appreciate the opportunity to come before you today, because we have the lead from our team, who oversees our battery storage developments, to give you a better idea and a presentation of how battery technology works, some of the different applications, how we develop these projects, give you a better idea of kind of what we're looking into with this technology in general. So we hope to be able to give you a nice overview of this type of technology today. So thank you all very much for having us, and I'll turn it over to Robbie from our team to give you the details.
Well, appreciate the opportunity to speak here today. So I'm gonna maybe cover a little bit about what these battery storage projects at what we call utility scale are. These connect to the transmission grid. And this is intended to just be informational. This is kind of what these look like and feel like. So if you have some slides, and I'll just refer to them just because the pictures are my content. So these are lithium ion batteries mostly. There's other technologies, but similar to the technology that's in your cell phone and other household appliances. But what's different about these is these are engineered systems. So these, work to a very high standard. They're intentionally designed for safety and reliability. These projects are typically, large scale. They may require a footprint of 3 to 20 acres, something like that. And they last for at least 20 years or more. So these are large investments in the electrical infrastructure grid. We move to the next slide, and slide 4 in the deck. Really what these projects do is they enhance the grid reliability, the electric grid's reliability. So they do kind of 3 main things. They balance the electric grid with too much energy, or when pressure and they discharge when there's a need on the electric grid. They also do what's called ancillary services, which are really help protect the grid. And lastly, as Jeff mentioned, they also serve as just like a backup generator. So in the case of an emergency on the electric grid, they can be called upon and provide power when needed. So moving to the slide 5, just a few pictures here of what these projects actually look like. At the top left, we can kind of see what they look like from the outside. So they're mostly, convex containers, 20 to 40 foot long. There may be a few dozen of them. There will be roads for access and maintenance within the facility. And they'll typically be located near an electric substation. They'll also be fenced in, just like a substation, with protections around it. On the right side, just a little more detail of what they actually look like close up, and on the bottom of what it looks like on the inside. And there's a few systems in there, controls, there's the batteries, there's safety systems and monitoring, and then there's a cooling system, just like an HVAC or air conditioner. Moving to the next slide, one of the key things that is really important to focus on with these projects is safety. Because obviously, people are what matters the most. I'll just reiterate, these are highly engineered systems, so they're well designed, adhered to their national standards. They undergo rigorous testing. They're also monitored 24/7 by people in a control room remotely. And best practices really include, engaging with the community, engaging with emergency response services. For the very rare occurrence that something does happen, that folks know, what the project looks like, what are the access points, what's the safety plan, and how to go through the situation. Lastly, I'll turn it over to Evan, and then maybe we can, if there's any questions, we're happy to.
Sure. So Robbie again kind of touched on kind of broader how it supports the grid and kind of the benefit that communities could do, but obviously there's a tax component to this as well. And just because due to the unique characteristics, I want to just highlight a couple of these things. Should a project like this potentially come to Navarro County? As Robbie mentioned, right, what we're looking at is usually these are developed at what we'll call like less desirable locations for other forms of development. They're next to existing electrical utility infrastructure, substations, switch yards, et cetera, right? Not places that you're going to see major residential developments want to go. And the land mass that we're talking about this, right, is usually, like I said, something, it can be greater than 20 acres, but many projects of this utility scale, right around that 20-acre mark. So the land mass is not very large, and again, located to less desirable other existing infrastructure. But within that 20 acres, we're talking a high level amount of capital expenditures and investment that would result in property tax values for the county. So again, I've got a short example here, a 200 megawatt facility that we've got. It's probably about $180 million total of investment on that 20 acres. So you're talking about $9 million an acre in investment within just that small facility there. So it'd be hard to draw any other comparisons to any form of investment that you would get that amount of investment on a per acre basis. As Robbie mentioned too, right, these systems are designed to operate for 20-ish years. And just like many other forms of development that you've seen, right, once you have a suitable location, it's typically easier just to reinvest in that location. There's certain things called augmentation, right, that they can look at, that they just simply add more batteries over time, right? So the facility can continue to do it, or just replace the existing batteries with newer, more efficient technology. So the facility continues to operate beyond just the 20 years that are noted there. So again, some unique things here, and obviously, because the land mass required allows these facilities to be located in many different locations across the state of Texas, within counties, et cetera. But again, it's provided another unique form of tax base to counties that, that have now only come to fruition over the last couple of years. Other than that, I think that covers most of our points of conversation. A lot of it is, again, if you've got any questions regarding any portion of this, we'd be glad to answer them.
I have two questions. Number one, you talked about cooling. And how is that accomplished? Is that you need a water source or?
So no external water sources. There's really kind of two main ways of cooling these systems, and it depends on what system you pick. It's either a standard HVAC, where it's air circulating through these containers,
Okay.
or the liquid cooling, which is more of a refrigerant and water that's a fully closed system.
Okay. My second question, I know you're building this safely as you possibly can, but in the event of a fire, what type of equipment is required? And will the company help our volunteer fire departments, or do you provide your own fire suppression equipment?
Sure. So there's a few approaches there. I would say in terms of equipment, it's just about getting water on location. So first and foremost, there's no close-up interaction with personnel with this equipment. It's from far away and just spraying curtains of water that you may already have with a tanker truck.
You put water on a lithium ion battery that's on fire?
Well, I mean, from the outside, it's exposed to rain, right? So from the
Right.
outside, The goal is to keep adjacent batteries cool, the adjacent systems cool,
Okay,
and allow for that battery to burn out.
let it burn
That's-
out,
Yeah,
okay,
that's correct.
that makes sense.
And in terms of engagement though, since you brought it up with emergency services, what we typically expect is kind of twofold. One, during development, there's an earlier stage where, there's discussion around plans, they're showing that developer is adhering to all of the national safety standards and equipment does. And then later on, it's about providing training to those folks as necessary, and typically developers will take care of that.
How do you dispose of the batteries when they're no longer in use?
Sure, so those are taken off-site, and it's still a bit in the early days of recycling, but there are recycling operations where these are taken off-site to a professional recycler where they can extract some of the critical metals and put it into new components.
Have y'all picked a location?
So we are looking at a number of areas across Texas, in this county, down by the Pisgah Ridge site, we are looking at a system there. It's again, right next to a large Encore substation. So we feel that, that could be a beneficial location.
Is there any dangers to the homeowners, anything negative?
Yeah, so there's a few things, so no is the short answer. But there's a few things to consider, right, is really the distance between this facility and anyone in the surrounding area. Typically, these systems even get built in urban environments, areas like New York City. But typical setback distances that you'd have with any electrical infrastructure is standard. There's other considerations like noise is a common question, but these batteries are very quiet. Really, the only noise is the same you would have from an electric substation or an HVAC running. And so in very rural areas, you wouldn't notice it any different than other electrical infrastructure. But if you were right next to somebody's home, I'm sure that would be like with any infrastructure.
Y'all have extensive land leased out there. Will it be surrounded by your land so that it's not
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right adjacent.
next to an adjoining property that's not leased?
That's right.
Okay.
And these are built on upgraded pad sites. I always make kind of the analogy of it's really similar to an oil and gas tank battery where we have to go in, upgrade the pad site, obviously just like with oil and gas, fracking, there's containment layers put in a pretty upgraded pad for that little footprint, but it's adjacent to the substation. And a lot of ways, it doesn't look dissimilar to a tank battery. It's just we've got the containers with the lithium batteries instead of the tank arrays. But it would all be self-contained and then right next to our existing facility.
Well, I know y'all did a great job upgrading and maintaining the roads back on that project that's down there. And I would just expect the same on this project in the event.
Definitely be part of the considerations as well.
Appreciate that. We appreciated working with the county and would expect to do the same on this project.
Any other questions, guys? No?
Appreciate y'all
All
coming.
right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Appreciate the information.
Good. May I ask a couple?
Yes,
What would be the expected time frame from this until project, or, beginning and then?
Yeah, a good question. So usually it takes several years to build. I believe here we're looking at 2025 will be the time frame there. Just with all the planning.
That's completion.
Completion and operation, yeah.
If this site was chosen, usual construction timeline is 12 to 18 months, kind of depending on how large the site is.
That'd probably be the earliest that we'd be able to do something, you never know how projects are gonna go. So.
And is Duke Energy's considering asking for any tax abatements or any economic incentive in order to choose Navarro County.
It's part of the equation. We're not asking for anything right now. This was just mainly to be informational. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
All right, anybody else? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you all
Appreciate
very
you
much.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Y'all
Thank you.
need to leave, well, you're excused. I know you don't want to probably sit through the rest of this,
If
but if you want to, you can. I mean, we might, but
we can write you a note for your principal.
Well, no, thank y'all. Been glad to see y'all got some rain too.
y'all, I mean, big time.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all.
I gotta make sure this in the tree down.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. We'll take a,
Yeah, we may all be.
you may all be called out for that matter.
Project have been blowing up already.
Oh, it's,
Oh,
it's,
just
yeah,
unreal.
since 10 o'clock last night. It's been
Wow,
blowing up.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it was-
And I don't know if y'all noticed, if you were watching radar last night, there was a hook echo that's coming right at us here. And all of a sudden it disappeared, just dissipated in
It
effect.
turned into 90-mile-an-hour straight line winds.
Yeah,
There were
Big
four electrical poles in Blooming Grove right there beside each other snapped off.
I gained 3 new trampolines in my yard.
That hook disappeared because my Catholic mother-in-law threw out her palm.
oh, okay, well, good, good, that's great. Good to hear. All righty, y'all want to go forward with this, and you want to continue to pause?
Pretty much business as usual.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9 is consideration of selecting a salary grievance committee from the computer generated randomized list names. 3 from public and 6 elected officials and 2 alternate. What is really neat about this is, you guys will remember, we used to put all these names in a hat or a bucket or whatever, and then we drew them out, and that was going to be the order in which all that's done. Well, now it's done by computer random selection type software, and so we already have a list, and I am going to now read them, and you guys all have copies of it. And there's Grant, just about to read this list, Jason.
All right,
Number 1 is Mauricio Ramos.
This is for grand jury,
Yes,
not the grievance committee.
it's from the grand jury. These are people who have served on the grand
I
jury.
see.
Yeah, that's their service on grand jury. Number 2 is Daniel Gatewood. Number 3 is Gary Wayman. Number 4 is Mary Albright. Number 5 is Starlin Williams. Number 6 is Evan Russell. Number 7 is Shonda Witherspoon. Number 8 is Paul Fugate. Number 9 is Eric Miguel, I guess. I'm sorry, don't know how to pronounce that name. Number 10 is Eric Blenden. Number 11, Marcus Thompson. Number 12 is Isha Chapa Young. And alternates John Cabano, Stanley Blanchard, Donald Sharp, and Ronald Reagan. How about that? So that is the list, and I'm sorry.
I've got a crew taking a tree down and there's a power line in it.
Okay, okay. So we need a motion to accept that list, please.
I'll make, go ahead.
I'll make a motion of accepting the selected salary grievance committee from the computer generated random list.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Good. Motion carries. We'll move on now to number 10, which is consideration of approving tax collection report for May 2023. Mr. Mike Dowd. Mr. Mike.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
All right. We're doing okay. So far, year to date, we have collected $26,648,608.50. $688.66. My typewriter ribbon count, my calculator ribbon count of the week here, I'm sorry. For the month of May, $319,064.06. Last year at this time, from May, total collections year to date is $25,771,078.61, and May's collections was $332,354.41. So far this year, money ahead, we are $877,530.03 ahead. Percentage wise, we're a little behind. We're 99% behind. We have so far elected 94.97%, but we're money ahead. So we're on track still.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Need a motion to approve that tax collection report, please.
I move that we approve the tax collection report for May 2023 from Mike Down.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 11 is consideration of approving Mike Dowd, Navarro County Tax Assessor, to calculate the 22-23 tax rate for the 2024 budget.
That's a housekeeping thing.
Gotcha.
Just need to say it out loud so everybody knows.
Need a motion,
Standard
please.
procedure.
Standard stuff.
I make a motion that we approve Mike Dowd, Navarro County Tax Assessor, to calculate the 22-23 tax rate for the 2024 budget.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 12 is consideration of approving Chatfield Water Supply Corporation to cross Northeast County Road 0190 in precinct 1.
That's mine. And it's a standard road board.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve Chatfield Water Supply Corporation across Northeast County Road 019 in precinct 1. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 13 is consideration of approving MEN Water Supply Corporation to cross Southeast County Road 3100 in precinct 2.
Yes, Judge, this is same thing as Jason's, it's just a standard road board and trying to get water on one side of the road and the other.
Okay.
I'll make a motion of approving MEN Water Supply Company to cross Southeast 3100 in precinct 2.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 14 is consideration of approving community water supply to cross Donahoe Road and Martin Road in precinct 3.
Here's another standard road board for growing leaps and bounds, and this is community water. That's out in the community of Retreat. I move that we approve the community water company to cross Donahoe Road and Martin Road in precinct 3.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 15 is consideration of approving the posting of closing 2,056 feet of Northeast County Road 2190 in precinct 2.
Judge, this is a pretty much a driveway for two people. And it's now becoming a subdivision on the other side of it. What they're wanting to do is just close it off. Everyone will still have access to get out. It's really gonna be just a safety deal. And I'll make a motion approving the posting and closing 2,056 feet of Northeast 2190 in precinct 2.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 16 is consideration of approving a final plat of Morgan Acres for Steve Thomas Morgan.
Good morning,
Stanley.
gentlemen. It's proposing a 76.871 acre tract And they're wishing to create 9 residential lots within that subdivision. All of which is gonna be surrounded by northwest County Road 1300. That's gonna be in precinct 1. They do meet the state and local regulation for subdivisions and septic system purposes, and they're asking permission for this one for approval.
This final plat,
This would be a final plan, yes.
Did this one already have the, restrictions?
This one, I'm not sure, they didn't submit any restrictions, it was done through a real estate agent, so.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till they submit some restrictions.
So we're gonna table this?
Yep.
All right, need a motion to table, please.
I'll make a motion that we'll table item 16.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry, to table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 17 is consideration of approving a replat of Herter, no, wait a minute. Yeah, Herter addition. Well,
It's a hard one to pronounce. That is a hard one to pronounce.
well, yeah, I've never seen that name. Herterf.
It's an older subdivision that's already existing.
Okay.
And Mr. Gonzalez wishing to create 3 tracks out of the existing 9.93 acres. It would be a 4.64 acre tract, a 4.29 acre tract, and a residual 1 acre that would contain his home. And it does meet state and local regulations for subdivisions and septic systems. The 1 acre has an existing system on it, so it's already established. And he's asking permission for this one to approve this replat.
So the one that already existed was the 1 acre tract?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's,
So these two on each side are the new ones?
I'm sorry.
These two places, the 4.64 and the 4.29. That's what he's dividing.
Right, that's what he's saying.
Any restrictions on this one?
That's
for your turn.
subdivision.
I didn't know if it was any already on there.
No, I'm aware.
I'll make a motion that we approve the replat for Hardiford addition, track 10 for Oscar Renee Gonzalez.
second,
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Of approving a final plat of Meadowview Estates for Milan Patel. Or
Yes.
Milan Patel.
That one is a 14.537 acre tract. Again, they're wishing to create 9 residential lots within that acreage. It does meet the state and local regulations for subdivisions and septic system regulations. I did speak with Texas Department of Transportation about the road frontage on Highway 22. And what they come up with is lot 1 and 2 will share a drive. Lot 3 and 4 will also share a drive. So it will fall within their regulations for road frontage and access to and from Highway 22 there. And they're asking for commission court approval this one also. As far as I know, there's no big restriction with this either place.
Okay, well, I'll table it till there is.
Okay, you can do a motion. to
I'll make a
table.
motion to table item 18.
Second,
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
all these people moving into precinct 1, are they aware how the wind blows in precinct 1?
Not sure.
Could have been out by a boat.
Yeah.
All right, number 19 is consideration of approving the listed items for the NCSO, that is Navarro County Sheriff's Office, as surplus. See attached list.
Just walking out loud.
yeah,
Yeah, it's in this file over here.
I'll make a motion of approving the listed items for NCSO as surplus.
Second,
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 20, consideration to approve engagement letter for financial audit services by Patillo, Brown and Hill LLP for the fiscal year 2022.
This is the fiscal year 22 audit that's currently in process that they're working on.
Need a motion, please.
I make a motion, we approve the engagement letter for financial audit services by Patillo, Brown and Hill for the fiscal year 22.
Commissioner Moore,
Second.
second. Okay, thank you. Figure since y'all were almost in a tie for to making the motion. Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 21 is consideration of approving subscription renewal with debt book software for the county auditor.
This is software that we currently use. Basically, it helps us keep up with all of the contracts that we have. It puts them all in one place, which automatically, when they come up for renewal or, anything like that, it automatically notifies us, which makes it a lot easier since we have several leases, Xerox being a big one of them. Also, it helps us at the end of the year to do audit reports. It's already automated for us, so it helps with accounting, keeping that on point. And we're just renewing it. They have 1-year cost and a 3-year cost. I would just suggest to just continue to do it a year at a time.
All right, questions, discussion, motion?
I make a motion that we approve the subscription renewal for debt book software for the county auditor. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 22 is consideration of approving to pay bills for courthouse without purchase order on June 12, 2023.
I'll make a motion of approval to pay bill for the courthouse without purchase orders on June 12, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 23 is consideration of approving to pay bills for precinct 3 without purchase order on June 12th of 2023.
I move that we approve to pay bills for precinct 3 without PO on June 12, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 24 is consideration of approving, to pay bills for jail. We want to be sure we pay the bills for the jail, okay? Without purchase order on June 12th of 2023.
I'll make a motion that we approve to pay bills for the jail without purchase order on June 12, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 25 is consideration of approving to pay bills for Navarro County Sheriff's Office without purchase order on June 12th of 2023.
I move that we approve to pay bills for NCSO without POs on June 12, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Hold on just a second.
Place your phones on the.
Another tree.
Yeah, it's the one with the electric wires.
All right, number 26 is an executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss personnel. Need a motion to go into that session, gentlemen.
It is 10:40. I move that we go into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss personnel.
Second. I got it that time.
I think he did too. He was close, but, motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are in that executive session now. Change that reporters.
So have you been seeing that law that's, well, it's going through legislature right now?